10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30. Still no biopsy results. So now we're pushing it for me to get out of the hospital by Friday night. As you know, I wanted to be out of the hospital ASAP. One of the things that happened with the kidney doctor, the nurse practitioner, on Wednesday, was she asked me if I had any recent blood work results available. I'm on Stelara for psoriasis, completely clear skin, been using it since 2017, and that's another positive that came out of this whole thing. When I went into the emergency room, I wondered if Stelara was a cause for this, and they said that it likely wasn't. And at some point during my hospital stay, I got the clearance that I can stay on Stelara. So whatever I'm going to go through here with multiple myeloma, my skin will remain clear, which is very good news and one of the big silver linings that came out of this. But because I'm on Stelara, that means I get tested for TB every year. I get tested for a lot of different things every year. So I have blood work going all the way back to 2021 that I could easily look up to see if there was any sign, any warning sign that I maybe had chronic kidney disease or some kind of issue with my kidneys. My blood work was completely normal. My creatinine was totally normal in 21, 22, and 23. There was nothing in my blood work that was any sort of alarm whatsoever. This truly did come out of nowhere. I was due for blood work very soon, probably around June 1st. And they would have found all the problems that were in there, especially the creatinine. I wished I could have gotten my blood work sooner, but that wasn't something that was going to be happening. But finally, the kidney biopsy results come in. I get my sister on the phone, and Kara's in the room with me, and this nurse practitioner is there. And she says, and I got this confirmed from my sister and from Kara, that she said multiple myeloma kidney. And I told CN in California because he needed to know. And my sister said, don't research that. Don't look that up. But the nurse practitioner also told me they wanted to do a bone marrow biopsy on Monday. They wanted me to stay in the hospital until the bone marrow biopsy was done. So I was no longer going home on Friday. I had to internalize that and figure it out and hope that Friday night would not be terrible again. But mainly it was just knowing this multiple myeloma kidney diagnosis. During the previous week, I had had a hospitalist named Dr. Walters for most of it. She was fine. Bedside manner was fine, if wooden. Just coming in, saying this, bye. But at some point, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, Dr. Abello took over, and I bonded very much with Dr. Abello. I really, really liked Dr. Abello. Great bedside manner. Very friendly, very open, had lots of conversations with me. It wasn't like I was just somebody being read off a list, which is what it was like with Dr. Walters. Just going down a list of checks, moving on. Dr. Abello talked to me. Dr. Abello had interest in me, and I'm really glad I met him. He was the person who was in charge of trying to figure out how to get me out of the hospital on my timeline. So we had to go through it a little bit. There was some venting that I had when things didn't go my way. But we all know now why I was meant to stay in the hospital as long as I did. Dr. Abello comes in and he writes my diagnosis on the board from the kidney biopsy. Light chain cast nephropathy, lambda predominant, 75% interstitial fibrosis. And that's what my sister didn't want me to research, along with multiple myeloma. Because based on how I went into the hospital with AKI, presenting in one of the worst possible ways you can go in with AKI, let's just say a year would be a long outcome. Not knowing anything, being inside a vacuum, a year would be a long outcome. A couple of months might be a long outcome. But I was on an extremely bad timeline based on the diagnosis that Dr. Abello put on the board. which had been called multiple myeloma kidney by the nurse practitioner. And I took it in stride. I was told again that I was going to be on a significant dialysis 3 days a week, which I made Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at around 5:45 a.m. 3.5 hours on the machine each of those days. And then it hit me that my traveling days might be over. And I'm working on this project, Texas versus Davis. I've been in development on this project for 6.5 years, trying to get it off the ground. And we're just about to start doing a bunch of interviews. You can't lose your dialysis chair, and sometimes they may take it away. I don't know what the status is of that, but I'm not going to take a chance. I'm just going to go to my dialysis every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. But I came to this revelation, and that's when tears started streaming down my cheeks, that I could no longer travel, and that my traveling for this Texas versus Davis project was over. I couldn't go away for a week anymore. That wasn't going to happen. And I didn't know what to do. But I just realized that North Las Vegas was going to be my last city that I lived in, based on what I've been told. And that traveling is not really a thing that could happen. And I have a trip booked to Maui at the end of November that I am desperately trying to get to. And oddly, I got travel insurance for that, and I've never done that before. And the reason I got the travel insurance is because I thought that the Texas versus Davis project might interfere. It turns out it's a little thing called multiple myeloma kidney that interfered. And I may have to cancel that trip and get my insurance refund of that trip. But as of now, I'm hoping to get off of dialysis as fast as possible so that I can go on this trip to Maui in November. Because that very likely will be the last time I go to Maui, if I can get there on that trip. I don't think it's because of dying or anything like that. It's just that it's not going to be feasible. So this is a last time trying to go to Maui, be able to sit out and hear the ocean. If I'm on dialysis still, I am not going on that trip. And that's why I'm hoping that I can be off of dialysis by November 1st. So that my catheter can be healed and that I can potentially swim in the ocean again. But that's my goal, is to get to Maui for Thanksgiving at the end of November. And the only way that happens is if I'm off dialysis. So that's where I want any prayers to be for me right now. That I'm off of dialysis as fast as possible, no later than November 1st, 2024. So once I came to the realization that I wasn't going to be able to travel, my sister and I had been talking about some dreams that she had had. And I finally put two and two together that maybe she was supposed to take my place on the Texas versus Davis project, that I needed to turn her into a subject matter expert so that she could be a second me, which has already begun. And she's agreed to do it. She's going to come out and stay with me for a few months while I try to get her up to speed. I'm very confident that I can turn her into a second me, maybe even a better me. And if for some reason I can't be a part of this project because I'm gone or incapacitated or unable to be a part of it, she will take over my role in the project that I'm producing. Chances are I'm going to be able to work alongside her, and she will be a second secret weapon. She will be my person that travels in my stead and goes on the trips and meets everybody. But it was really hard internalizing that I may not get to see the people from that project. JS times 2, SS, SC, and GG. That I might not get to see them off-site anytime again. If they can come out to Vegas, then I can see them again. But me getting to go and see them anytime soon, I don't know how that's going to happen. It was very hard to internalize that, but I eventually did.